as we welcome Eddie Gregorio. Yes. Welcome to Garifuna Music and Talk with DJ Labuga, the home of the classic Garifuna music. This is a weekly radio show online through www.lmbroots.com in the Bronx, New York, and www.radiocentroamerica.com in Los Angeles. We are live every Wednesday from 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 10 p.m. to midnight Eastern Standard Time. We bring to you special guests from throughout the diaspora, from musicians, authors, artists, to scholars and newsmakers. So tune in every week for another community acclaimed show. Find us on Facebook as Garifuna Music and Talk with DJ Labuga, GAHFU Norales on Twitter, and Garifuna Heritage Foundation on Google Circles and Instagram. Follow me on Facebook as Ronnie Figueroa. Welcome to Garifuna Music and Talk with DJ Labuga. Vemos ya. All right. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Of course, we have the music of Garifuna Legacy in the background, ladies and gentlemen, as we await and welcome Eddie Gregorio from Legacy Gifted tonight. We're going to talk about his brand new project along with Mr. Vegas, a Jamaican recording reggae artist. His collaboration with Juni Marr from Belize, and of course all the wonderful work that Eddie Gregorio has been doing in the community with recording great music, playing up and down New York from club to club, welcoming new generations of Garifuna Americans.
Hello.
Yes, Eddie. That's how we want to welcome you tonight, Eddie. We wanted to make sure that people know that it's not a fake call, that we are live and direct from the studios in Long Beach. Welcome tonight, Eddie. This is Garifuna Music and Talk with DJ Labuga. How are you this evening?
Great. I'm great. It's my pleasure to be on the radio with you, Roddy.
Thank you so much, man. You are a busy man, and I appreciate you taking the time to spend at least a good 40-45 minutes with us, talk about new projects, talk about how you started in this music industry, and being a legend that you are, how you were able to transition from Garifuna Kids to Garifuna Legacy to Legacy Gifted, and who knows, many more bands in between that we don't know about. How's that?
That sounds good.
Yes, man. Welcome tonight. I am so glad that you took the time to turn off the TV. I know you are probably watching the game between Chile and Colombia right now, but due to weather conditions, hey, give us a big break to do the show, right?
That's right. No problem.
How's Tia doing? How's Tia Moreira doing out there?
She's good. She's doing well. Thank you.
Okay, give her our greetings. Tell her we love her so much, and we'll remember her every time she used to come with Paula Castillo, and of course, every time she used to come to Los Angeles to visit family members and friends. Okay?
Right. Okay.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so let's get right into it. Eddie, you were born in the Bronx, in New York. Can you share with us a little bit about your birthplace and what it was like to grow up as a Garifuna there?
Yes, I was born in the Bronx, and then I was raised in Brooklyn initially. What it was like, it was initially where I first was raised, which is called Marcus Garvey housing, which are projects. When I was first raised there, I was pretty much in the same area of the band Labuga Boyz. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so we both lived in the same area, so I've always had access to their rehearsals, as they were, very popular at the time, or on their way to becoming extremely popular. So I was always connected to the who we are as Garifunas from a very young age. Tradition, music, overall language, just throughout my childhood, regardless of the outside influence, the Garifuna culture has always had a very powerful impact on who I was to become later.
Wow, that is amazing.
Yeah.
Can you give us a rough estimate based on what you have seen through the years, what the population of the Garifuna would be? We are talking about Hondurans, Guatemalans,
Right.
Belizeans, and Nicaraguans, probably a few of them. Overall,
Right.
how many Garinagu do you think there are in your area?
Oh, in my area.
Yeah, in New York. In New York.
In New York itself, I would have to say, well, maybe, definitely over about 2 to 3 million.
Wow, that's a lot.
I would have to say,
Wow.
yeah, because there are many who are now mixed. Now we have Garifunas who are Garifuna Jamaican, or who are Garifuna Haitians. It's different now. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, we are very growing population.
Yes,
Yeah.
I understand. So take 1% of that 3 million people. We're talking about 300,000 who are actively participating in Garifuna events. Those are your fans, the ones that come and support the dances that you guys promote, the dances that you guys play for. So, I mean, you guys have a huge market in New York.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, well, it's actually growing a lot more now in places like Houston and New Orleans. Many people, due to the economical status here in New York, they're beginning to move to different places. So now you have a whole bunch of Garifunas in Atlanta. You got them in Ohio, and you definitely got them, all over Houston and New Orleans now. Yeah.
So what they're doing is they're taking the money, the hard-earned money that they have earned through generations as their kids are growing, and they are going to those communities to buy property, to buy a house, and to live large.
Absolutely,
Beautiful.
yeah. Cost of living is a lot better outside of New York, but we still have our New Yorkers who stay true to New York, and they just won't leave.
Wow.
Yeah.
Eddie, you surprised me a lot. You are one young man that never seems to get old. You always look youthful. You always look sharp. You always promote good things. You say, I would say I never seen you do any drugs, and I applaud you for that, because you are a clear example that was set from the beginning, probably from your parents, but reinforced by Garifuna Kids, what we call that school that you guys took, that you guys lived through the Roches brothers. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, our experience with the Roches brothers was definitely a good beginning overall, a great experience. They recognized our talents and wanted to take it to another level. And I believe that the band itself, Garifuna Kids, the members, we didn't really even understand the caliber like they did,
Wow.
So I think that the experience with them was great. Had it not been for them, then the the rest of the world would not have known Garifuna Kids at that caliber, because they did work really hard. Yeah. In my opinion, they worked very hard to make sure that the name went all over the place, and we didn't even have social media at the time. So they had to work double hard.
That is right. Yes.
Yeah, they did a good job. Excellent job. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me take you back to your parents. I am so excited that I'm just going in every direction because we have so much in common. You as a musician, I'm as a DJ, and somebody who was a big fan of Garifuna Kids, and getting to know you guys when you guys were coming up. It's just a great experience. But who are your parents? Talk about your parents, please.
Okay. Well, my parents, my mom, everybody knows my mother as Yolanda Moreira. And my dad is Eddie Gregorio, which extend back to so many different last names. But they're both were born and raised in Livingston, Guatemala. My dad was never per se he wasn't a musician, but he liked music. And my mom, of course, liked to dance, so she liked to drum. So we did have a household loaded with music and different kinds of music, because my dad wasn't really always listening to the Punta. He liked Baranda. He liked the rock and roll, you know?
Yes.
He liked a different kind of music. Yeah. So they were born and raised in, they're originally from Livingston, Guatemala.
Mm-hmm.
That's where they're from. Yeah.
And when growing up in New York, did you used to travel to Guatemala, or you started traveling when Garifuna Kids came around?
Oh, no. I started to travel as an infant to Guatemala. Yeah, it's how I learned the language. I was actually able to speak Garifuna fluently probably by the time I was 4 years old.
Wow.
And Spanish at the time, because that's what that was the language that was spoken at home. So those two languages. So it wasn't until I went to school was when I kind of started to lose the ability to speak it. But I understand them both, and I speak more Garifuna, I would say, than I speak Spanish. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we have a lot of fans on the line who are listening through, of course, LMB Roots Radio in New York, and of course, Radio Centroamérica. So I want you to take a minute to acknowledge these wonderful people who are checking you out, listening to your story. And of course, we have a big fan in Los Angeles, Miss Verlaine Ramirez, who sends her heart out to you. She's one of the biggest fans of you, Eddie. So go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, so this is for me to say?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, yeah, thank you to everyone that's listening. Every family member, every fan, which I don't consider to be fans. I consider fans to be family. And yeah, Verlaine, a good friend of mine for a long time. So shout out to you, Verlaine. She's been around the Garifuna Kids time up until now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Qué mutia. So, what memorable event or events do you remember about growing up Garifuna in America? One of the biggest things that you remember that impacted you?
I would have to say beginning to see if it was in America, then it would be the live band, because back home it was the latas, that's how I started playing music, playing on the latas.
With the cans, the tin cans.
The cans, yeah. And so, so in America, I would have to say it was to see how a group of men at the time mainly would get together and be able to make one sound. So and then on top of that, singing in our language of origin, which is Garifuna. So I was definitely fascinated to see how they added the instruments to it. Yeah, that definitely impacted me.
Wow. And how old were you when you first realized that you had love for making music and that you were good at it?
Oh man, I never. Wow. Yeah, I would have, well, how old I was about, we started around the age of 11, 12, myself, Linky, and Coco. So it would have to be around that age. I mean, when we knew that we were great because it was a team, I would have to say that it was just upon seeing the growth of the fan base. So that had to be maybe within the next, after that, maybe within the next 5 years. Afterwards, 5 to 3, because the band started. We started playing music actually about 86, 87.
Wow.
And then the band started 89. You know,
I see.
And
Wow.
then we impacted the community by 93. So we were that was with the first album. So then that's when, to answer your question, 1993 is when we realized, like, wow, you know, we're bringing in 300, 400 people on a regular basis. So it was at that point we realized that we were good. Yeah.
Wow, that's beautiful,
Yeah.
man. Good memories, good childhood. I believe that it was good growing up in a community that is so tightly intertwined. You know, whether you are Garifuna from Honduras, from Belize, Guatemala, as long as you are Garifuna, you were one of the group. You know what I mean? So that was
Absolutely.
a good thing. Great community. Wow,
Yeah.
that's nice. That's nice.
Yeah.
What was so different about you compared to the other kids in your school?
In my school, you said?
Yes.
I would have to say, you know, we were probably first generation American Garifunas. So I would have to say it was that, the fact that I could probably speak 3 languages. And it was fascinating to my friends. It was very uncommon that you would say, if you could speak Spanish, they would call you either Dominican or Puerto Rican or Mexican.
Okay.
Yeah. So the ability to be able to speak Spanish and another language. I mean, not that they heard Garifuna on a regular school day, but maybe if I had friends around me who were per se just 100% African American, they were very fascinated, you know, to hear that I could speak different languages. I would have to say that was a unique part, you know, of who I was growing up.
Was there ever a moment that any of those kids called you African or any other name as a way to put you down because you were different?
No, they actually, where I grew up, they actually embraced it.
Wow. Beautiful.
In Brooklyn, Brownsville. Yeah, they, before I moved to the other area where it was more, Garifuna populated, when I was mainly around a lot of African Americans, they embraced it. You know, they asked where I was from, and, I would tell them my parents are from Guatemala and so on and so forth. And then, they would embrace it.
Wow.
Yeah. It was never a put down in that aspect at all.
Wow, that's great. So
yeah,
you guys had a strong presence in school then. Beautiful.
Oh,
Beautiful.
absolutely.
And this is something that I want to ask you personally. I've noticed that among Garifuna kids today, and it's probably been the case before, it's just that we have social media today that we see the intensity of the interest that a lot of Garifuna kids have towards music. Why are Garifuna music so inclined towards music, towards making music? I mean, it's not just music, because we all like music, but then about making music.
Yeah. Well, to answer that, ultimately, I would have to say that it's just mainly for those who can make it. First of all, that would be a gift. If you're able to produce music, write it, and so on and so forth, that's not something that everyone can do. So I believe that the influence overall is because that they have I just believe Garifuna people are blessed people overall.
I agree. I agree.
You know, we just have this. We're so connected through music. It's one of the highest elements we have as Garifuna people. You know, in terms of communication. You know.
Yes.
So with one another, that's the place we have a good time is with music overall. So yeah, I just believe that we're blessed with the ability to make music, not only Punta and Paranda and so on and so forth, but we have the ability as Central Americans to do all kinds of music. We could do reggae, we could do merengue, we could play a salsa, but then when you go to those places, they cannot make Punta music, so they don't have the ability to do what we do. So we definitely have a special gift. It's absolutely a blessing.
No, definitely. Yeah. I have seen videos on YouTube and even on Facebook of other cultures imitating Punta, and you could tell the big difference. I mean, you could really tell, first of all, the connection between the drummer and the drum. When you are playing the drum, it's not just beating the drums, it's connecting with the drum and knowing where to break, where to put in that nice feeling. So it's just crazy different. You're right about that, yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. When playing in the band at the beginning, what parts of the instruments, what instruments were you interested in playing, or were you always interested in singing?
No. Yeah, I was never interested in singing. I started playing percussion because that's what I knew was percussion a bit. Yeah, so mainly because of what I learned back home, I had the ability to play the Garifuna drum, and then later learning how to play the congas, which is a bit different in terms of instrumentation, right? Because you have a low and a high, as opposed to the Garifuna drum, you could just play one. So we pretty much overall all grew into the other aspects of instruments. So Garifuna Kids was a very a band
multi-talented.
Because we could multi-talented is the perfect word. Because we would just shift, but we were one of the only bands who would do that. So So Linky would play the bass for one song, then Coco might jump on the keyboard for another song. We did it all.
Wow, that is beautiful. Very nice. Yeah, I remember seeing you guys in Los Angeles, how you guys used to rotate in the instruments and just have fun with it. I mean, you guys were just enjoying the music. It wasn't even work. It was just having fun, connecting with the fans, you know?
Absolutely.
Beautiful. Yeah. How did you become interested in your culture? More aware of what Garifunaduüü was all about?
Well, that was absolutely in my rearing as I was raised. My mom and dad followed the traditions of the Garifuna culture, so it is where the seed was planted. You know, so I then later, as I began to grow older, I embraced it more because then I saw that there were many people who were ashamed of it. But the funny thing was, the ones who were ashamed were the ones who were actually born and raised within it back home. So they would come to America and be ashamed, whereas myself and many other people, we were proud. We embraced it more. So,
wow.
But it was a seed planted, to answer your question, from home, and it was something to be proud of, not to be ashamed of.
Wow, that is beautiful. Yeah. That is nice. Interesting, very interesting. Well, I want to take a minute to say hello to our wonderful audience. We have people listening in Panajachel, Guatemala, a beautiful lake in Pana. So big up to you people listening out there, to Eddie Gregorio, formerly from Garifuna Kids and Garifuna Legacy, and today with Legacy Gifted, who is here tonight as our special guest. This is Garifuna Music and Talk with DJ Labuga, and we are live through 2 radio stations online. We're live on lmbroots.com radio from the Boogie Down Bronx in New York, and from www radiocentroamerica.com in downtown Los Angeles. So big up to Pasadena, Encinitas, San Diego, Long Beach, Los Angeles, downtown LA, New York, everybody who's tuning in tonight. Thank you for tuning in and for being part of this wonderful show tonight. Thank you, Eddie, for being here with us. And my next question for you is, I always hear comments from a lot of musicians, from a lot of people who love Garifuna music, who are Garifuna and who are non-Garifuna. And they say, hey, I want to see Punta music get to the level of reggae music or get to the level of soca music where it's internationally acclaimed. And I think it's getting there slowly with Aurelio Martinez and the Garifuna Collective and so many other bands that are coming and touring all over the world. When did you realize that Garifuna Punta music was as good and as marketable and as competitive as soca and reggae, Eddie?
I've always recognized Punta music as the equivalent. What we needed, what the difference was that we lacked, and I believe we still lack it today, is we lack unification. I think we're that I've always felt like Garifuna music that could have crossed over a long time ago, or could have been heard as much as soca and reggae and so on and so forth. We just lack the unification, and I could tell you why, and I believe that we're too busy focused on the flag representations of where we're from. So let me give you an example. If we look at the flag from Guatemala with the quetzal on it, if we look at the flag from Honduras with the 5 stars on it, and if you look at the Belizean flag and the flag from Nicaragua and so on and so forth, when you look at all those flags actually play a part in separating us. But if you look at our original flag, which is the one we came with from St. Vincent as Garifuna, right?
Yes.
You would recognize that that's the flag that unifies us. But it's nothing wrong with representing the flag of that specific country, especially if you were possibly born there. But it would be a lot better in terms of unification if we recognize our true flag first, which is the Garifuna flag. So I think that the mentality of the Garifuna people have become segregated because of the flags. So that brings it back to your initial question. Overall, as far as the music, we would have been there already had we not been a segregated people. You see, because if we unify, we're way more powerful than we are. Of course, united we stand, divided we fall.
Yes.
So we would have already been mainstream had we been more unified and recognized who we really are first. Because no matter what, even if you look at a person from Guatemala overall, when you really look at how Garifuna got to Honduras, that we more than likely have ancestry, all of us, from Honduras.
Yes.
Chances are so we're the same people.
Yes.
Just the flag separate us.
That's
so, not to get into the politics of that, but the point is that if we were better unified, the music would have gotten, because there's so much great music out here overall, just from the Punta artists from everywhere, from the Garifunas from Belize, Honduras, Guatemala, wherever, we have great production. We just lack unification.
Yes. Good point, man.
So we're weak.
Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry, Ron. Go ahead.
No, I have to agree with you 100%, Eddie, because I learned through this dispute between Belize and Guatemala that a lot of Garinagu are divided between Guatemala and Belize because they have relatives. We have families on both sides. And when you are raising the flag of Belize or the flag of Guatemala, even though you are Garifuna, you're always taking sides because of the political issues. But deep inside your heart, you shouldn't be fighting. You shouldn't be divided because it's one people, right? Exactly. So I felt it real hard because my wife is from Belize. I am from Guatemala. And we suffer when we see all this hate being spread on social media. And as a musician, you know, I heard comments from Ideal, from Topo, saying, hey, man, I got people on both sides. I don't know what to do. I feel bad. I hope we encounter some type of a peace agreement that, you know, we resolve these issues. But it's because of the flags, like you are saying, the Belize flag, the Guatemala flag, the Honduran flag, and the Nicaraguan flag that divide Garifuna. Very good point.
It changes the mentality of the people. That's what's happening. It's because then we think we are 100% Guatemalan or 100% Honduran, when, you know, when you really look at the history of who we are and how we mixed with the Arawak Indians, we're not 100% anything of those. We are 100% Garifuna.
Yes.
That's what we are first. Yeah. So where the Garifunas are from really doesn't matter. What's important is the fact that we are Garifuna. Because now we got American Garifunas, you know? Now we got Jamaican Garifunas. Like, it's starting to mix. And then what are we going to do? Send our children to different parades because of the flag? No, you know, we're Garifunas first. Yeah. Yeah, and Ronnie, that's what I've always represented. From the time of Garifuna Kids, I would always mention, I didn't, you know, in one specific song, we mentioned Nicaragua, but I would always mention the main three parts, Honduras, Belize, and Guatemala, because I believe that's, you know, and growing now, knowing more about the St. Vincent and Nicaragua and possibly parts of Costa Rica, the whole point is that I've always known that we were one people as Garifuna. That's why I've never represented one part. I've always represented Garifuna as a whole, up until this day. Yeah.
No, man, very good point. Yeah. I have so many things to say about this aspect of the conversation that we're talking about, but I'll leave it alone because I think you encapsulated everything. You were able to really tell the truth behind these different flags of different countries. Thank you for that, man. Great. And I think it's going to do a lot of good to a lot of the young listeners who are confused about this divisionism that takes place because of a flag of a country. Thank you for that.
That's right. I
appreciate it.
Okay. I appreciate that.
So let's talk about Garifuna Legacy. A lot of fans really thought that Garifuna Legacy was going to stay together a lot longer, but it didn't. The breaking up of Garifuna Kids gave birth to other bands as well, such as Garifuna Boyz, and in the West Coast, right here on my side, and many other bands like I mean, I could name other bands, but just please help me on this one here.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I just like with what happened with Garifuna Kids, Garifuna Legacy, I just believe we were in the growing process as individuals. We were all growing. We all, most of us in Garifuna Legacy, like myself and Coco, we had a history. We actually grew up together, you know? Yes. And then there were those, well, Coco and I came from Garifuna Kids. But before Garifuna Kids, we have, we were raised in the same area, you know? So I think we were growing. I believe that we were growing as individuals, and then, we had no idea what we were walking into in terms of popularity. We were just making music, and I believe when popularity and business kicks in, now things start to change. You know,
yes.
Things start to change in the aspect of in the aspect of business, and the business can affect friendships. You know, but we all remain strong today. We all get along well. Coco was just at a show that Legacy Gifted performed in. He always comes in and, you know, he's an excellent entertainer. I think he's the best. And, you know, he shows up to the show and we're fine today. But I just believe that those times were the times of growth for us. We were entering responsibility now. We began to have children and so on and so forth. So I believe life was changing, you know. And as much as we love music, we had to set priorities at that point.
Wow. So all of a sudden, life shows up. And you guys got to think about, wow, we got to worry about my significant other, my wife, my baby mama, whatever it is.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, serious business.
Yeah.
Serious business.
Yeah.
Now, the selection process. How did you guys go through you and Coco go through the selection process to accept band members for Garifuna Legacy?
Oh, well, we were, as we left, Garifuna Kids alone, we pretty much took whoever wanted to come. So that's where we spoke with, Big June. We spoke with Pequeño at the time, who's now El Único, right?
Wow.
Pequeño is now El Único.
Wow. I never realized that. Wow. Thank you for that.
That's him. Yeah, that's him. You gotta have him on the show. He's doing really
yes,
well.
Yes, man. Definitely.
Yeah, with his music. Yeah. And, so we took who we could, and we had Denny, Cayetano. So we just had, the power in terms of leadership, and they just said that they would come along. At that moment, we had our discrepancy with the Roaches brothers at the time, but today we all get along fine, But yeah, so yeah, it wasn't much of a selection. Then again, the same processing. People began to join other musicians who were up and coming, like Carlissimo. Today, he's a reggae artist now, mixed with Punta.
Yes.
He does his solo thing as well. So all of this just started to develop as we just were performing, and the popularity started to shift and grow, because Garifuna Kids continued, I believe, for about one more generation, and that generation was the third one, which is actually Cultural Legends. So everything just started to.
Thank you for that. Yes.
Yeah. So there's a lot to the history. So we didn't select specific people. We took whoever came along. You could be part of the band. That's just pretty much how we did it. Yeah.
Wow. Now, as far as recording, how many albums did the Garifuna Legacy record?
Garifuna Legacy recorded 2 albums, Unfinished Business and Dynasty.
Wow.
We recorded 2 albums. Yeah, there's 2 albums I believe in a 10-year span. 2 albums, and each one had impact and gave us business for 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, they were powerful music. Yeah. I mean, it was just jamming everywhere. Man, you guys did some good quality recordings. And
appreciate that.
Now moving on to Garifuna Legacy, you have the gift of music, and of course, Legacy Gifted fits you really well. Can you talk about the band members and give us a little bit of the background about its formation, what it is today?
Yeah, absolutely. Legacy Gifted was formulated out of about 3 bands. One, as Cultural Legends, they were in their separation process. Garifuna Legacy had separated already, and then you had Galigar Band going through their separation process. So it didn't all happen at the same time. So initially it was myself and Giovanni Licona, who he's the director of the band, one of the musical directors of the band of Legacy Gifted. He was the musical director. He was the musical director of Cultural Legends. He's the one who does most of that production.
I see.
So he was out. We were pretty much in a place where we didn't want to do anything anymore. What happened was business continued. For some reason, people called from LA. They continued to call from Houston and Florida, and they still were looking for a band. So because we didn't want to use the same names in which we came from, so then we developed Legacy Gifted. So we have Giovanni and Kelvin from Cultural Legends, and then we had Donnie and Justin from Galigar Band, and you have myself, Juancito, and Carlos from Garifuna Legacy. So we just kept the Legacy and added the Gifted, and now and then now we got the newer members. You got the lead singer, who you guys are gonna hear soon. His name is John, an excellent vocalist. He's actually Coco's nephew.
Oh,
So yeah,
another
he's one of the
Guerrero.
lead singers. Another Guerrero, yeah. Yeah. So yeah, he's excellent in terms of his vocal. His father is Manny, who used to be a lead singer for Grupo H. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yes,
Yeah.
I know Manny. Oh my God.
Yeah. So that's his son, and you know, just that's pretty much how Legacy Gifted came about. So now we're at a point where our album is done, the first one, because we stepped into responsibility and priority throughout the first about 7 years of our existence at Legacy Gifted.
That was my next question, Eddie. How come Legacy Gifted has taken forever to produce and publish an album? I am pretty pissed off at you guys.
Yeah. Well, everybody will be relieved to know that it is done now. What happened was we took on life as priority. There were decisions that needed to be made in terms of choices in life. Now we had the children, they were growing up. Now we had greater responsibilities. We started to own properties and so on and so forth. You know, we had our own responsibilities, and everybody works. So we decided to do that first. We decided to go with what was priority, which was family and children and life. It became priority. So what we did do was we continued to perform, but we could ever hardly get into the studio because we would always have to return to work on Monday. We was exhausted Sunday.
Oh, wow.
So it took us a while, and it's not that simple. Well, for a musician, it is simple to make music, but to plan it properly so that it can have the proper impact for the people is what we've been doing throughout the years.
Yeah.
And so finally it's done. So that's what happened. To answer your question,
Thank you.
Priority kicked in. You know, it's not a business that we could live off of. So school was more important. We had to complete our schooling in terms of college was concerned. So we you know, for those of us who didn't complete it, we went back to complete it, and we took that on. So our formula is simple: priority first, and then you know, music would become second.
Yes,
and that's what happened. Yeah,
I agree.
We couldn't make it first. Yeah.
Well, in what you just told us about right now leads into the next part of the question. As part of your growth as a musician and as the leader of Legacy Gifted, you are currently embarking on a whole new project with world-renowned Jamaican reggae artist Mr. Vegas. And this is a collaboration with one of the hottest Belizean Garifuna producers, Johnny Marr. Can you elaborate on that a little bit, please? I have the music that you sent me with this name, Punta Shake.
Punta Shake,
yeah, featuring Mr. Vegas, Legacy Gifted, and Johnny Marr.
Johnny Marr, yeah. Well, first of all, my hat goes off to the young Johnny Marr. He did an excellent job at his initiation of the production of the track. And also shout out to Spice, the promoter and record label Spice Killer. He also had a hand in making sure that we were able to work together. So, you know, that's exactly what I'm talking about, because, see, Johnny Marr, Spice would represent Belizean Garifunas, and then I represent Garifunas overall, but you see what happens when we all get together. But let me tell you how it happened. It initiated with Johnny Marr and Mr. Vegas. I guess when Mr. Vegas did a performance in Belize, that's when he and Johnny Marr got together and got in the studio, from what I understand.
Wow.
Then Mr. G, the ever famous popular Mr. G, who has the YouTube channel, what does he call it? Oh man, he's gonna kill me. I forgot his the name, the Catracho.
Oh.
He's gonna kill me. I forgot it.
We're talking about Are we talking about what's his name? Don Julian? No.
No, Don Julian is yeah, Don Julian has a different radio show out here from New York. No, but Mr. G is actually Coco's older brother. He's a Guerrero.
Oh,
So,
Abelardo.
yeah, right.
Abelardo Guerrero.
I didn't want to say his government name yet. Well, you said it. For Mr. G, who is like a big brother. He's actually Coco's older brother, and he's like a big brother to me. Remember, we all came from the same area, and Don Julian from Brownsville.
Yes.
In Brooklyn. So Mr. G reached out and he asked me to take part in the song. He asked me my opinion of the production, as Juni Mar and Vegas had already began the production. And then as I told him the song was excellent. I said, who did it? He said, Juni Mar. I said, that kid is really good, you know? And then he says, okay, what can we do extra to it, and so on and so forth. So we pretty much collaborated from there, you know. But like I stated, Juni Mar initiated that track. Any changes I just made in order for it to, that's just an experience change. It wasn't that it wasn't satisfactory. You know, it was good. But with his okay, with everyone's agreement, I added to it so that we could really reach out to the overall Garifuna, you know?
Yes.
So, because music has changed a lot, it's pretty much a different sound from the Garifuna, from Belize, Guatemala, and Honduras. So, and then you got the American Garifuna sound. So we wanted to combine that, and I believe we accomplished that goal with Mr. Vegas and what he wanted to do overall with the song. So we got into writing, producing, and Mr. Vegas was very open to all the ideas for the song, because he understood that he wanted what was going to be considered the best. So I believe he worked with a chosen few. You know, we're not the best, but we're pretty much there, one of the best.
Yes.
You know, as a team.
Yes.
Yeah, so it collaborated. It came together through a collaboration of several people. Yeah.
Okay, so I want to play this song, this track that you kindly emailed to me, and it's Mr. Vegas featuring Legacy Gifted and Juni Mar. It's called Punta Shake. Please introduce the song, and then that would allow you and me to go and drink some water and maybe come back to finalize and finish the interview, Eddie. This is great. I love you, man, for your input, for your sincerity, for being such a trooper in motivating the new generations of Garifuna Americans, and of course many Garinagu in Central America. Okay, so go ahead.
Absolutely. Yeah, so here we are, introduced to you guys Punta Shake with Mr. Vegas featuring Legacy Gifted and Juni Mar. Here we are with DJ Labuga, Punta Shake, and everybody shake it.
Yes, Kemotia. Aha.
You know, so Mr. Vegas, Legacy Gifted, you know, so the thing turn up.
Wow, Eddie, very nice, man. This is a great tune, man. It's got definitely the elements that you were talking about, that international Punta sound that could be embraced by not only people from where the diaspora, you know, like Garifuna, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, or Belize, but also our brothers and sisters in St. Vincent could dance to it like a soca song, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Very nice.
Very good.
So how many songs on the album?
On the Legacy Gifted album, which is entitled Punta Plus, because we have more than just Punta on there. We have 15 cuts on it.
Wow. Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. How many songs, how many of these songs was Juni Mar involved in? Or only one? Only Punta Shake?
Oh, in terms of, no, Punta Shake is, that's a single by MV Records. That's which is Mr. Vegas. That is ultimately controlled by Mr. Vegas. That's his label, his own business.
Ah,
yeah, Punta
very
Shake,
nice.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So Punta Shake is his baby, his Punta baby. Yeah. Shout out to Mr. Vegas too. You're a good man, very good man.
Very nice, very nice. That's beautiful. That is good news, man. I love this collaboration that's going on now. About Legacy Gifted, the album. Continue, please.
Yeah. So the name of the album is going to be Punta Plus, and so we're going to have 14 to 15 cuts on the album. So we have a mixture of course, Punta. We have a paranda. We have calypso. We got merengue. We even have bachata. And the reason why, well, one, because many people say we need to promote more of the punta. Well, we tend to disagree. We tend to feel like, well, as long as we have our punta elements that will dominate the project, at the same time, we want to illustrate what other music we could do. So, so we have original bachatas and original merengues and so on and so forth. And we work with some good, actually, all our producers, I would have to say, are all Garifuna. So shout out to our brother over there, Big Kev in Houston, and Ronnie Piano here in New York. They helped us out on some of those different productions.
That's beautiful. Now, do you have a studio at home, or you guys went to a studio outside and did all the work?
Both. We did both. Many of us now, as compact as a studio could be now on the laptop and the audio interface. So a lot of it was done at home with professional equipment, and then who mixed and mastered it was Victor Arzum.
Bilito.
Yeah, Bilito is the one who mixed and mastered the project. I believe him to be one of the best, if not the best, we have in terms of that skill set in terms of music. He's a great musician. Everybody knows that, but then he's also excellent with mix and mastering, so that we could have it to the standard. He actually mixed that song that you just played.
Wow, the Punta Shake.
Yeah, that's Punta Shake. He did the mix and the mastering. Yeah.
Oh wow, that is beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, he's really of 24 karat caliber. I would say.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Eddie. I wanna thank you from the bottom of my heart for spending almost 1 hour with us talking about you, your family, Garifuna Kids, Garifuna Legacy, Garifuna Gifted. Legacy Gifted, and some other bands that they were like a spin-off of what you guys created. This desire to make music as kids, you know.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you so much. And is there anything else you would like to wish or say a special message to our beautiful audience before we let you go?
Yes, I'd just like to send a shout out from the heart to everyone who listened in. And my message is simple. Let's get together. Let's do better things as one people, and let's represent our flag. And that's it.
Thank you so much, Eddie. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been Eddie Gregorio live and direct from New York through lmbRoots.com radio in the Boogie Down Bronx and www.radiocentroamerica.com in Los Angeles. Good night, Eddie.
All right, good night.
Ayo.
Okay, where you go?
This has been your weekly radio show, Garifuna Music and Talk with DJ Labuga. Thank you for spending 2 hours of quality time with the best weekly radio show on lmbRoots.com radio and radiocentroamerica.com. We'll see you next week as we bring the best of Garifuna performers, musicians, and special guests. Garifuna Music and Talk with DJ Labuga is off the air. We'll see you next week.